It's too late to introduce Galactus to the MCU, and if they do, he's going to be a really terrible villain. I know it's a very controversial opinion, but I think it's true. I love Galactus as much as the next red-blooded Marvel fanboy. He's always been my favorite villain, and I know he's kind of the resident Marvel punching bag. Writers bringing him to threaten heroes and then have Galactus lose to show how awesome and strong their heroes are by comparison. It's kind of amazing that Galactus is able to keep his reputation as an awesome villain after being beaten or fooled by guys like The Thing, Thor, Dazzler, and even Squirrel Girl. I guess that just shows how enduringly terrifying a living, breathing embodiment of a cosmic apocalypse can be. To put it simple, Galactus is badass, but be that as it may, he has no place in the MCU. His time has come and gone. Don't worry, I'm going to explain why right now. Now let me put a quick disclaimer out there. A neutered, totally disappointing version of Galactus very well may show up in the MCU in much the same way as Dormammu did in Doctor Strange. In that film, Dormammu wasn't really a functional villain and was just a last-minute adversary that Doctor Strange outwitted in a funny way. Forgive me for saying this, but Dormammu, the primordial demon of the dark dimension, was just a throwaway character. And Kevin Feige and the guys at the MCU might very well use Galactus the same exact way. Perhaps a random cosmic being in the background of the Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Love and Thunder. But if we're talking about making Galactus an actual threat to our heroes, someone that will induce dread and fear in fans when they see his name mentioned on screen, well, then he should have been the villain in Phase 3. Because Galactus is a planetary threat. He scours the galaxy with his trusty heralds, looking for delicious planets to devour, and one by one eats them, much like Darth Nihilus. He's terrifying, but the stakes are only ever planet deep with Galactus. He doesn't threaten entire solar systems, galaxies, or even universes. And by this time in the MCU, we're very well past planetary threats. In Phase 3, Thanos wiped out half the life in the entire universe. And now, with the revelation that Kang the Conqueror has been controlling the timeline the entire time, the threat to the Avengers and the other heroes of Earth has gone beyond just universe and into the multiverse. How could Galactus even manage to register on your average moviegoer's radar? And I know you might disagree with me, but you'll say smaller scales make better stories, and points to films like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which were so much better than movies like Age of Ultron, in my opinion. But a fight against a planet-eating god doesn't really sound as a smaller scale story. It's only smaller by comparison to Kang or Thanos, but I don't think it's the type of intimate storytelling that would draw comparisons to street-level superhero stories. And there's another thing. Galactus is a villain that we need to dread. We need to hear rumors of planets disappearing from the galaxy, whispers of a silver flash of light streaking across the sky, and then a sudden appearance of a giant shadow of a ship on the horizon. Just like Thanos was teased for the first 3 phases of the MCU, Galactus should be, but perhaps even more. He is a devourer, a cold, black-eyed shark of a villain who has no emotions. He only has desire to feed. But if you look at the slate of upcoming MCU movies and the devastation left behind by Thanos in Phase 3, you realize that for the MCU to continue excelling, it has to leave behind some of its most awesome storylines, and one of those is the coming of Galactus. And as sad as it is to say, yes, making the stakes higher is important to making the major crossover films more important, we also got to realize if they ever did bring in Galactus, people would just wonder why isn't Thor able to one-shot him with the Stormbreaker? Or why don't Guardians ask Xandar for help? At this point, there needs to be a threat that the Avengers and their many allies aren't obviously capable of defeating. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think of my theory about Galactus. I'd love to see him, but I just kind of feel like it's too late now. Unless he's devouring galaxies one munch at a time. I mean, they could change that up, but we'll see. Have a great day. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and comment down below. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next episode, remember, with great power comes great responsibility.